All right. Well, hopefully this thing is working. I got a lot of sunlight here, so I try to tone it down a bit, but it is what it is, and I'm dealing with you know sunlight, so I'm really not going to be able to do anything other than the simple fact of just dealing with things as they are. Uh, my biggest problem, of course, unfortunately for me, is for the longest time when I bought this house with Mrs. Dude, is we had a situation where the solar guys were always like, "Hi, solar guys, solar guys." And mostly it's because of just simple orientation of which way my house is pointing. I mean, I'm sitting in my office now, which is pretty much the wall on the back side of my house or side of my house. Hey, what's going on, Donnie? Appreciate you coming on by, man. Uh, so looking at the back wall, literally back wall of my house, which is really not the back wall, it's actually the side wall. Orientation of my house is such is that north is this way, but actual magnetic north is like about 40 degrees, 30 degrees off of arc. So, truthfully, I get the full sweep of the sun. So, literally from east to west, I have the full sweep of the sun. Of that, my master bedroom is directly straight ahead of me on the upper level. So, I have my master bathroom windows facing due east, my front windows facing pretty much due west. So, in a scheme of things, all those guys that are flying out of, well, airports, they're squirting past me and going north, south, or what have you, because there is a jetway over my house. Now, the thing about it is literally when they leave out of an airport, they don't just go, and U-turn and just go straight down and wherever they're going, that's where they're going. They actually spiral their way up until they finally reach altitude, or they reach the level of where they're missing each other by the determined amount of distance by the FAA and all the rest of that good stuff. But I'll put it as this: I am roughly about not even 20 minutes away from BWI Airport, so Baltimore Washington International Airport. I'm literally about 20 minutes away from that airport, as a crow flies. So, case in point, the planes leaving out of there. Southwest is a major hub in that airport, by the way. That's like 1/7 of the airport's business when things are normal. That is so close to me in terms of where they're spiraling up and making altitude, and of course, their distance ranging and what have you. The Southwest planes are with their, orange and blue paint job, or reddish blue paint job, whatever you wish to call it. That two-tone paint job, I can pick out the Southwest planes as they're coming over and go, yep, that's a Southwest jet, versus like any of the other carriers. I know it just simply because they're only like at a few thousand feet above my house. The nice thing about it is even in, hugely busy parts of time when you have like summer traffic at its absolute just craziness, my noise level for jet noise is not bad. I mean, literally, I have planes passing over. I've seen it literally where it's like one jet, then 90 seconds later is another jet. Then I look in the upper atmosphere. There's like different levels. Jets at like 30, 40K, basically at cruising altitudes, making their westward bound trip or eastward bound trip going over. And it's kind of cool because I literally could see all this jet traffic in the jetway over my house. Now, here's the crazy thing. One night, Mrs. Dude was like, hey, dude, you might want to check this out. And there is a reason why I'm wearing the KSC t-shirt, Kennedy Space Center. I've been there twice. I've seen the space shuttle there. I've seen the space shuttle in over in Virginia, over in Dulles, Virginia, is one of the space shuttles. So there's literally 3 space shuttles on the East Coast. There's one up in New York City, which is over by the Intrepid aircraft carrier. There's one down here around my burg, Baltimore, Washington vicinity. You have over in Dulles Airport in the Smithsonian Udvar Hazy. So basically the stuff that just doesn't fit in Washington, D.C. It's too big. All that stuff goes out to Udvar Hazy. And then there's finally the last space shuttle, and I do mean literally the very last space shuttle. Space shuttle flight STS-135 is the space shuttle that is currently in location at Kennedy Space Center. Now, the cool thing about it is one of my friends is actually engineer that works for Sikorsky, and he's a pilot. And we flew from his place at West Palm Beach to Cocoa Beach, which is, pretty much going along the space coast or the east coast of Florida. And we left out of my place and went to his place and went to Kennedy and hung out and saw their space shuttle. Now, he didn't tell me why we were going there, but he was like, "Hey, man, you want to go to Kennedy Space Center?" I'm like, obviously, yeah, I'm a space geek. Let's go. Now, I'm not one of these people that goes in the gift shop and has to eat like $6 freeze-dried ice cream and all the rest of that crap. I did get some tchotchkes and bring the crap home, but it is literally something that is cool for me to experience because I'm a space geek. I love the space stuff. The technologies involved. Elon Musk doing his thing. I'm rah-rahing him along, for everything he's doing with, all that good stuff. And it's very cool because that stuff that we're now seeing is literally the phrase, to use the gunsmith guy here on YouTube, Mark Novak, unobtainium. Now, unobtainium, I'm going to transition subjects here, is one of those things that tends to really just kick my tail. Case in point, I literally have been looking for one of these things for freaking ever. And I'm talking about one of the Choate thumbhole stocks. There's nothing really all that extremely cool about it. It's a thumbhole stock. The coolest thing about these guys is this is going to be a little bit of a painful thing. We're still in healing process. But on your AR-15, AR-10, configuration rifles, you can do a machine gunner style bench rest where you basically lock in, you put the buttstock in, and then with your offhand, you then can pull it in and snug it into your shoulder. And this has destination to be on one of my projects that's currently in the basement I was playing with the other day. And yeah, exactly, Abrams. That guy is awesome, and I love his channel. But the thing about it is, for unobtainium, is this thing was very, 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 very hard to source. And I'm probably going to have to do a little bit of tweaking and tuning on it because I've seen a little bit of a rough life. But to get it in the first place was really kind of cool. And no, I did not buy it off of eBay because eBay right now is doubled down on their stupidity to say, well, we're not going to allow certain gun stuff on there and, certain other things that will allow. Well, obviously, they'll allow all kinds of Chinese, Chi-Com, Shaptastic BS on there. Incidentally, that last guy I bought something Chinese from, it was something I had to source because it was not easily found anywhere else. Recharging cable for the light blaster. The light blaster, the spotlight that I've had, forever in the dude mobile doing like Uber and Lyft and stuff. But trying to find a charging cable for these things. Black & Decker, I think, is who made this guy or somebody, but I forget who actually sold it, but it was Walmart buy. I think I actually ordered it on Walmart online, but obviously it's a Chinese product. I'm not buying any more Chinese products. Obviously, this is a Chinese product to feed the Chinese product that I bought. The thing about it is, though, is that guy got his feedback on eBay, and I said, yeah, decent product. It works. Made in China, not doing it ever again. He copped a negative. And I don't care if the guy was, quote unquote, located in California. It obviously was imported from China, shipped to California, warehoused in California, and then finally shipped out to me. So I'm not buying any more China. Okay, hopefully it's back. Yes, hopefully it's back. I don't know why it dropped out like that. I think I might have bumped the off button or the thing glitched up, but I noticed my mic was flashing, which means it isn't transmitting. Anyway, give me an idea where I dropped out there, Abrams. I was kind of like going on. Where did I drop off? I think was when I was messing around with the microphone and lost sound that way. because I kind of transitioned to a bunch of stuff there and jumped all over the place. But I said essentially what it was is Chinese stuff, not buying Chinese stuff, made in China, not buying it, it's going back on the shelf. And unfortunately for me, scrounging around stuff on the internet, I tend to really kind of screw myself because I have this unfortunate case of I like to do something called the rule of two. Rule of two. One as a user, one as a backup / keepsake / collectible. Case in point, it could be, well, rule of two. Rule of two. This is the kind of stuff that bites me like hard. Yeah, I need to run this one with the ozonator. It's like kind of that mildew basement thing going on. But yeah, rule of two. The Valor. These things are near, dear, and hard to source. But I've got two of them now. And I actually have one that's in the box. So it's actually one up on the other one, which I only have as just with the sheath. So yeah, that rule of two thing. It's a really sucky thing if you're a collector, if you have the rule of two, because then if you got one, you got to find a second one. Then if you got the second one, you're like, wow, that's really cool, but I'd like to have one that's more of a user versus what I'm going to be buggering up. And before you know it, you have 15 bazillions of the damn things. Like I really, really had to curtail myself on my Techna collection for just that very simple reason. When you have like 7 or 10 or 12 or 14 different, Techna dive knives, how many of them could you possibly wear at any one time? Case in point, I actually had a bunch of the survival knives. The Techna survival knives for a while weren't too terribly bad. Now they're like $200 knives on the any sourcing, eBay or any place else that you could look around, find, used knives and what have you. The sourcing on those things is nothing short than ridiculous. Case in point, I've noticed now a lot of stuff because people have time and they're on the internet and they're terrorizing the internet. They're now actively buying stuff. And this is normally things where I could just go on the internet and I could go, well, let me just go ahead and search for the XYZ, and I would find it fairly easy. And it would be maybe not multitudes, but there was a bunch of them. Well, because everybody now is sitting around their house and they're bored and they got nothing better to do, they're terrorizing the interwebs and they're actively, well, first and foremost, they're sitting at home and they're eating too much crap, so they're getting fat. Second off, they're sitting around the house eating too much crap and they're on the internet and they're terrorizing these websites trying to go, yep, time to replace misspent youth, time to replace things I should have bought years and years and years ago. Probably should buy this XYZ that I don't have currently in my collection. That's the thing that makes my life just a little bit harder now, because all that unobtainium is now becoming near, dear, and rarefied, and it's harder to source. Now, I am going to actively make sure that I don't do that thing on the microphone again. Now, I'm sure everybody was just like, I see him, and then everything just kind of stopped. So anyway, but yeah, this is kind of a learning curve thing with this live cast thing, and I'm kind of still in the process of learning it. Hopefully, sound quality. You know what? I haven't done anything different to my Yeti. My Yeti is my Yeti. I plug it in when I'm using it. I unplug it when I'm not using it. Those people that think that they're basically going to backdoor me and start snooping around and find stuff on the the home computer network, good luck, dude. Because when I get done using it, the camera gets unplugged. The microphone gets unplugged. The phone, by and large, 90% of the time, the 4G is not even turned on. Any other computer item that I have usually is in such a way that the cameras are shielded, the microphones are not being utilized, and 99.99999% of the time, if they're not being used, there's an active firewall and all the rest of the good stuff like that there. Just a little bit of personal security, of course, those people that try to backdoor stuff. We do, unfortunately, Mrs. Dude had to have one. Okay, sound and video is a lot smoother than Facebook. Well, Facebook sucks at streaming, okay? I've seen like newscasts from like the president before on Facebook, and it's like it's just bad. And the reason why that they have sucky streaming is because they're Facebook. I have noticed that the guys who pay the money for the bandwidth or whatever do get better broadcasting. Those people that tend to do it free, it sucks. And case in point, I'm rocking an old ass computer here, so that might be 99% of it. But I'm not switching up anytime soon. I still like rocking a Win 7 unit. I still like rocking old tech, and it's still stuff that I'm going to be using. So I'm going to work with it as it is. I do have the laptop, and I can definitely put the laptop off to my side here on the desk, fire that thing up with extraneous items. I do have the blue snowball, so I do have a spare microphone. I do have another camera, so I literally could rig two systems working off the same unit, easily. The thing is, though, is that this computer that I'm currently utilizing as my home computer is hardwired. It's not like using like the Wi-Fi signal and trying to use like any of the Wi-Fi, 5G, 4G, call it what you will. Not a huge fan of the 5G. The only thing I can really say that's good about 5G in terms of anybody trying to mess with you is it doesn't have a whole hell of a lot of range. 300-400 feet, that's it, man. It's done. The only problem, though, is this is the dirty little secret that nobody will ever, ever, ever tell you about your Wi-Fi modem. In your Wi-Fi modem is 2 channels of transmission and receiving. Not just 4G. I'm talking 4G and 5G. So there's actually 4 channels going on in your modem at any one same time. And I'm talking transmitting, receiving, transmitting, receiving. Of that one, the one that you're using that's visible is for your home network. That's the one that you're using. Billy Bob's home unit, blah, 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 with my password of XYZ PDQ. Boop. Okay, that's the one you're using. 5G in the same way. Billy Bob's 5G, XYZ PDQ password, boop. And I don't use XYZ PDQ, so, don't even think about that one. But there's the second channel they don't tell you about. The FCC has mandated that Comcast and all these other guys who are, active suppliers of, internet service, cable service, what have you, your modem, literally the thing that's about 3 feet away from my head, your modem has to put out a secondary channel to be conversant with devices going by to handshake from house to house to house to house in this prescribed emergency secondary network kind of, it's really not good stuff. 5G is a form of ionizing radiation that rips apart normal CO2 atoms. No, that's not enough energy, dude. That's not enough energy. You're talking about making ozone or ozone production. Ozone production is going to be literally like one of these little wankers right here. Let me pop it off real fast. This is an ozone generator. It forms an arc in here. It is not a radio transmission. It is not a upload and download prescribed bandwidth, bit stream, call it what you will. It's not nearly enough energy. You're talking only a few hundred milliwatts of energy, dude. Literally. A phone is 200 milliwatts of energy. That's why you lose phone calls so easy. That's why you need to have so many cell towers. 200 milliwatts. Line of sight. Once you lose that line of sight, you're done. I could disable this with 2 layers of tinfoil. It's not that much power. As a matter of fact, I actually sometimes shield my unit with tinfoil because I don't feel like getting fried all the time. 5G is just another bandwidth of transmission, dude. It's really not this big conspiracy theory about mind control and all this other crap. Turn that off, dude, because that is not even to bear any merit here. Trust me. But the thing about it is it's a secondary form of transmission that is mandated by the FCC. Why? Because the FCC pretty much doesn't do anything anymore. I mean, they really don't do a whole hell of a lot except for simply saying, okay, well, you computer guy can't interfere with this computer guy. And the computer guys are like, dude, we weren't doing that 5 years ago. You got to catch up. So the FCC right now is pretty much moot, irrelevant, and null and void in terms of being able to enforce jack. And in terms of actual broadcast radio, it's a dying breed, dude. I know DJs, and they're like, yeah, if I hadn't got into it when I did, I sure wouldn't be doing it now because my job is going away probably about the next 10 years or so. And reason being is you have like the classic Jack FM, where they take a computer and the computer is quote unquote the DJ. They put it in a playlist in a computer hard drive. The computer then runs the stuff. There's the commercials, there's the headers, there's the tailors, the stingers, all those things that are basically put in between the songs and in between the commercials. Hey, this is Jack. We this, that, and the other thing because we're better than blah, blah, blah. That kind of crap is recorded somewhere else, and then they put it in there as a cart. Like the old 8-track things. They put it in there as a cart, still an old term being utilized. They put it in there as a cart header or stinger or tailer or any of those other things that they're utilizing, stop sets, all the rest of that fun stuff. I've heard all the terms. I know the terms. I don't use the terms because I'm not a radio guy. But I do know the phrasing. I do know how it's utilized. I do know why they say those things because I know DJs. I literally know guys who are on the air daily and do their shtick. And like I said, I know DJs. These are guys that literally go out and do the stuff, and they're well known. You obviously have seen the guys. Trust me on that one. El Tendo. Grazie, amico. Grazie. Buongiorno. So yeah, I got my Italian compatriots coming in. That's cool too. So anyway, the thing about it is this 5G thing. It's really just it's a couple different levels of transmission. Well, anytime that you're utilizing the subset of what you have available and you're breaking it down, you're reducing the amount of everything that you have available. Now, Comcast would be glad to sell you more bandwidth. The only problem is how much do they charge you to utilize said item of more? Holy crap. I can tell you the pricing on it, and it is damn near ridiculous. As a matter of fact, Mrs. Dude and I have gone back and forth about, like, do we really need cable anymore? Because now she's gotten herself a Amazon Fire Stick. And, dude, let me tell you what. The Fire Stick pretty much does everything the cable does, and the picture is actually better, too. So, give me 1 second. Let's see. Met the Weed Man from 107.7 once. Steven Seaweed. That's definitely a West Coast thing, dude. I never heard of that guy, but okay. But yeah, man, it's definitely kind of one of those things where they basically break down the technology, and I just don't go for conspiracy theory stuff, man. There's so much bad information out there. Like, I love the one about, like, oh, everything's open now. Everybody's starting to test positive for COVID-19. It's like, you do realize the incubation period is like 72 hours, and then it takes you like 14 days to finally show like you've got it. And by the time you finally go through all that stuff and you get all the testing and you finally prove out these guys have this crap, it's not like 3 days, news guys. It is not. Nice try. Don't pass go. Go away and hide. You're idiots. It's really funny, though. I mean, when you put out this half-ass information and you catch them on it and you tear them apart to shreds, holy crap, it's really just fun to watch. I mean, it's like anybody who listens to the news guys, and I literally have done it like real time. I'm like watching the news, and I'm just ripping the guys to shreds, and Mrs. Dude's like, oh, great. He's doing the Statler and Waldorf all in one. Yeah, because they're freaking morons. News guys are not smart people. They are active, good-looking regurgitators of bad information. Man, I love the press chick that's now just ripping them to shreds in the White House. She's fun. She's really fun because they start spouting off this, usual stupid twaddle. And I don't care where you are in terms of the political spectrum. Somebody asking stupid confrontational questions to the president, if you get your ass handed to you by a New Yorker, you're getting exactly what you deserve because you're getting snarky with a New Yorker, and we don't play like that. We don't play like that, man. You walk up to a New Yorker and you get snotty, you will get something in return, okay? Trust me on that one. Like the classic one, like, where Dustin Hoffman was walking around, hey, I'm walking here. That was off the cuff, completely just one off. The cabbie and him going back and forth. The cabbie wasn't even an actor. He was a guy that made a wrong turn and turned into the wrong street. And as they happen to be walking, John Voight and Dustin Hoffman walking across the street, is that like, well, I forget that movie, but anyway, you know the scene, you can look it up. Hey, I'm walking here. That was literally just Dustin Hoffman throwing it back at him because he's from that area. So anyway, just really funny when these news guys spout off and start talking their stupidness, and it never, ever fails to be entertaining. I mean, let me just grab a few things here real fast. I've been looking around in just various items. Let's see. You know what is the most annoying thing is when you try to do something on Twitter, it's not easy to navigate. It really, truly just doesn't work very, very, very well. It just really doesn't, okay? No, let's see. Oh, case in point. I don't know if you guys know about this or look at this or see this, but there is a news agency called Vice. Vice.com, and of course they have a fairly large YouTube channel. They are unequivocally, ragingly left of most of your really leftist Pravda on the Potomac, Washington Post. I mean, just really screamingly, ragingly communist, socialist, just beholden. That's about the easiest way to describe it. But anyway, I'm looking at a news story from redstateobserver.com. This is the reality of hard-won technology. This is the reality of putting print on paper is going bye-bye. This is the reality of exactly way too many of these guys, just overpopulation of news geek bubbleheads, shall we say. And I'm really trying to keep this clean. News geek bubbleheads is just the overpopulation of these guys going out and basically trying to lay it on as thick as possible. People are just tired of it, okay? There's way too much information out there, and there's just way too many people supplying just bad information. Gavin McInnes started Vice, try to process that one. I mean, look at Matt Drudge. Matt Drudge is pretty much a closeted gay guy who really tried to be more conservative, but now really isn't. I don't know. It's kind of one of those crazy ass things. But anyway, Vice News is now laying off 55 U.S. employees and 100 globally. Now, let's just do the math here for 1 second. Your average news guy makes not a small amount of cash. I mean, even these guys, they say that they make 50 or 60K a piece. Well, if you talk 155 people times 60K, I'll just do a quick little bit of math here. So 155 times 6,000,000 equals $9.3 million per year. That's a pretty good amount of coin. So if you think about them duffing these guys and simply just doing stuff completely electronically utilizing 20 people, well, duh. Or utilizing only 20 people who are doing it for the worldwide spectrum of all the technologies that are currently available, because I don't need to do anything different to transmit this video to another place on the planet. They simply just go, oh, okay, here's dude's video, beep, 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 boop, and they click it on, and they're watching it on YouTube. YouTube being a worldwide thing, except maybe in places like China or like, I don't know, deepest, darkest, socialist, communist, raging North Korea, you're probably not going to get very good internet clarity in terms of just people just able to see anything that they'd ever want. But by and large, the technology is such is that it has become its own Ouroboros, snake eating its own tail, where the technology is such is that it's so available, it's so easy to disseminate, and you don't need to go, okay, well, let me just write this down somewhere, hand that off to somebody else. They now basically go downstairs, print out a make a plate or lay out the linotype, basically lay out the individual letters, letterpress or offset press those items on a piece of paper, hand that off to somebody else to truck them off to the newsstand, which then disseminates it off to the general population. It's such that pretty much You can put out anything, anywhere, anytime. And I've often described the internet as about the same problem as looking up at the night sky and going, hey, man, check out that star. And they go, what star are you talking about? Well, that one up there. And next to, it's like, oh, you mean the white one? Yeah, well, yeah, it's next to the white one, but the other white one, the ones that are shaped like the Mickey, and the ones that are over here, this, that, and the other thing, whatever. Abram saying, I bet most of the layoffs happen in California. Look up the changes to the independent contractor, freelancer laws. Dude, California is a freaking train wreck right now. I just hope to hell that they don't import too many leftards from California, install them in Texas, and make Texas, California light. Because Austin is going the way of the dodo rather quickly in terms of being very Californian. Excuse me one second. I don't want to make this video too terrible long, but every once in a while, I want to try a live cast and see if things are kind of working, people checking in. I am messing around with the metadata, so hopefully it's now announcing. I do hopefully want to see the chat replay actually in there where people can look around. I don't really like removing any form of running commentary because it's kind of cool, because most times people see these videos and they don't go, oh, timestamp, and they put down like their comment. They'll just put down a comment underneath the video, and it's like, where does this actually take place and have its sense and meaning? And do I even remember it with how many thousands of videos do I currently have up? Never mind the fact that, live video is like a whole other animal now. And of course, I'm now running on 20 days. Yeah, 20 days left to serve out my prison sentence in Facebook jail. Anybody knows me knows, oh, wow, it took him that long to get banned. I truly am completely and absolutely shocked it took that long for me to put up something and get banned. And man, I'll tell you what, I would love to post up a picture of what I put there, but I literally am trying to keep my live casts clean to the point where somebody goes and go, hey man, blah, 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 and then they basically demonetize it. And the only reason why I'm even thinking of monetizing it is to gather, garnish, and, foster the views. When the Boogaloo kicks off, don't shoot at cars and people with Jefferson State flags and enjoy the gulag. Yeah, Jefferson guys, I have no issue whatsoever with the Jefferson guys. The biggest problem is, of course, California is such a hash south and north. It's like the middle is pretty much just, they're screwed. So let me break off on this one, folks. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Of course, still waiting on Facebook to turn back on. Now, the thing that's a dirty little secret about it is Facebook actually got smart in one regard, is they now have it locked in such a way that if you sign out of the one that's blocked and you incognito tab another Facebook page, they lock that one. Well, the two that they locked are ones that I never, ever get political on. And I do mean never. One of them is work-related, and one of them is family-related. And both of those are very, very rarely logged into in the first place. Well, Mr. Zuckerberg, you dirty little piece of crap, I have a super secret squirrel version of Facebook page that you don't lock out. And some of my friends are my friends on all those pages. So that's not even an issue. I have noticed, though, that there is like certain ways you can keep from getting knocked out if you are locked out. If you create another Facebook page, number one, never, ever go through and form the habitual liking and reacting and stuff like that you do to people's stuff. Respond to them in private message. If you do that liking and stuff, that's a red flag for them whatsoever. Don't ever, ever, ever post stuff with the super secret squirrel page. Use that as a unique item that you use just really in case of emergency. Now, the thing that's really kind of craziest here is this time I am banned, blocked, call it what you will. I still can private message people, which is supposed to be locked out completely when you catch a 30-day Facebook block. I still can talk to people. So on that note, I'm going to break up on this one. Still waiting on 20 days. What's that going to be in terms of the scheme of things? That puts me back on what, like the Wednesday the 3rd of like June. Okay, I'll be back. I'll be back in June. Whatever. Like, not like we're really doing anything crazy here, man. Everything's still pretty much in lockdown status. So waiting for the world to go back to normal. I have seen a bunch of people actively going out and doing stuff. Mrs. Dude shot me a picture, like people out in Ocean City. If you guys don't know that, that is literally an area of Maryland that is just below Delaware along the eastern shore. Hugely popular in the summertime. It's absolutely nuts, man. It's like so many people go out there and it becomes almost like a almost like a Key West free for all, or almost like a just an absolutely craziness happening because that's what they do. I mean, that's all they do. It becomes like a Fort Lauderdale kind of excursion of just craziness, and that's that's literally what the kids do. Like 5 or 6 of them rent a way too expensive hotel room, and they party their asses off. But yeah, that literally becomes like one of those things. But anyway, so Mrs. Dude shot me a picture of that place, and the crowd walking down the boardwalk looked like summer level crowds. 75 to 80% of the people weren't wearing masks. I'm sorry, if I'm in a crowd of people like that, number one, you will be 6 feet away from me, even if I have to walk further away from you. You will be further away from me, and I will be wearing a mask. Why? Well, because I got one, and I will be wearing one because I don't know you, and I don't know you that well, and I sure don't know everybody that you've been with. You got bougies. All right, folks, I'm going to break up this one. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Enjoy your Sunday. Catch you guys on Tuesday. 9 o'clock, we'll be doing that live 5x5 thing, Dude After Dark. Hopefully, technology improves, and I tweak a couple things. Sound quality is better. That was kind of a really rough outing, but, it did kind of work. Sometimes it's that growing pains thing where, Rich is trying to figure out the producer side, and I'm trying to figure out the supply side. But we will be back doing stuff live 5x5 on that one. So I'm going to break up this one, guys. Eagle, keep centering as always. You know it, you love it. And thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. You get a gold star for attendance. Congratulations. I don't know what that means, but enjoy. Catch you guys later. Have a good weekend and have a good week. See you guys. Tuesday, 9 o'clock. Not Facebook, YouTube, around the cabin. You know where to find me. See you guys.